Evening, everyone. Today, of course, I will be responding to this week's play, Rent, that we had to watch. So, some initial thoughts I had. I noticed that the playwright took time out to have theatrical moments that helped introduce a new character or a new concept that was occurring throughout that part of the play. And I thought that was pretty interesting. It helped me as a viewer better understand who the characters were and some of their characteristics. Two values that I saw throughout the play was seize the moment and betrayal. There was often a lot of songs were talking about being in the moment, enjoying what you have now because you can't really control what happens in the future, and betrayal because initially there was plans that they wouldn't have to pay rent, and now their friend is making them pay rent, so that's a betrayal problem. Something that I had to Google was AZT. I was very confused with that term that happened throughout the play. So after I looked it up, I figured out that it was a drug used for HIV and AIDS patients, and it's basically used to not necessarily cease, but lower the spread of the virus throughout the body. So it acts in the T cells. It's supposed to help keep your T cells up and things like that. Um, the issue of diversity, I would say, was the was same sex relationships. There was a lot of same sex relations that occurred. This is very different. Even people today have trouble wrapping their heads around same sex marriages and same sex relations. So it kind of made some people uncomfortable, which I think is good because you're still getting the exposure to it. And it also exposes people like this is a real thing. People are going to continue to do what they want as far as their relations come. And everybody should be able to love whoever or whomever they choose. So the song that I picked was one song, Glory. So I personally think that this song was displaying the internal emotions that the character was feeling at the time. Um, there was a mention that he had lost his girlfriend because they found out they had AIDS, and so she killed herself, and that dwindled within. So I think that was his expression in music form that he was really hurting deep down inside. And then my two questions were, why do you think the playwright wanted to use the musical style or genre of theater for this play? And also, there was a lot of, this is like a slightly confusing thing for me. There was a lot of talk about powder and candles. There's one song in particular, and I know that powder is a reference to like a drug such as cocaine. However, I wasn't sure what the candles quite symbolized. I was thinking like light in the darkness or things like that, but I couldn't quite figure it out. So if anybody has any insight on that, I would deeply appreciate your thoughts.